Well, welcome back, trainers, here with Pewter City Gym, and we're going to go ahead and carry on with our playthrough of Detective Pikachu Returns today. How y'all doing? Hope you had a fantastic couple days. So, we are studying the theft of a jewel called the Aurora Drop from a very wealthy jeweler in Rhyme City. We are in the middle of that investigation right now. Let's go ahead and carry on with that.
Hey, Tim, there's something on the floor by the window. Should we check it out?
Okay. Yeah, alright. Broken glass? And a blue feather. Oh no, just a blue feather. Just a bunch of blue feathers. Okay.
Oh.
What's this? Pokemon feathers?
Sure looks like it. They're scattered all over the floor and the window's open. Maybe a Pokemon got in or out through here.
Do you think it has anything to do with the case?
Look at this. One of these feathers is darker than the others.
You're right. The other 6 are a lighter shade of blue.
Something about that's nagging at me.
So my guess it was a Cramorant and his team of professional thief Duckletts. Let's see. We can't go in there yet. There's no other Pokemon up here. I want to talk to that Growlithe, actually, because she was the one that had the key around her neck. And so if anyone would know who took the key, it would be her. Where's she at? There we go. Hey, it's okay. You're a good girl.
Growl. It's Dennis's partner, Growlithe.
She sure doesn't look happy.
Growl. Apparently she feels responsible. No wonder she's so down.
Maybe we should leave her alone for a while. No, literally she's the one that could solve this entire case. Why are you being dumb? Okay. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Let's talk to this Clefable, because why wouldn't we? All ears for mansion gossip. Oh, she's so cute. Fab.
Oh, it's Clefable, Mrs. Dennis's partner, apparently. Can I ask you a few questions?
Faye?
Whoa, what gives? No need to be so rude.
What's wrong?
Seems like she's real suspicious of us. Maybe she's feeling sensitive after the incident here.
Okay, Miss Dennis?
You certainly don't look like you're with the police. State your business.
Okay. Claudia Dennis. Okay. Well, hello, Miss Dennis. We're detectives, Mr. Dennis asked us to investigate the incident that occurred here. Detectives? Oh, I guess my husband did say something about that. Your husband? That must mean your... Claudia Dennis, Sanjeev's wife. I'm sorry to bother you, but do you mind if we ask you some questions? I do mind, actually. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. This case has already been solved. What do you mean? The police said that Barnes is behind all this. So the matter's settled. We've heard that he's under suspicion, yes, but we can't be certain that it was Barnes who committed the crime. You sound just like my husband. But nothing you say will change the fact that Barnes is the culprit. Barnes' partner Ducklett was up to no good. I saw it with my own eyes. Oh, blue feathers. Okay. Did you witness the crime?
Barnes' partner Ducklett was involved in the crime?
I knew it was Ducklett's. You look as though you don't believe me.
Excuse me?
Is it true that you witnessed the crime? Well, I didn't see it clearly.
Ma?
But I did witness some irrefutable proof. What exactly did you see? At the time of the incident, I was enjoying a cup of tea in my room on the 2nd floor. Just then I noticed a bird Pokemon flying outside the window. A bird Pokemon? Yes, I clearly saw a blue bird Pokemon. It had to have been Ducklett.
We did find blue feathers near the window and in the storage room. So those were Ducklett's?
In hindsight, she was obviously stealing the jewel. I also heard a faint sound just before that, like something metallic. A metallic sound? Do you know what could have made that noise? No, I don't, but the storage room was ransacked, wasn't it? I suppose she must have broken something in the act. And I've heard it confirmed that Ducklett's feathers were found in the room. Isn't that proof enough that Barnes is the culprit? I mean, they weren't.
She's pretty darn convinced of her own theory. But it's all based on a metallic sound and the sight of a flying blue bird Pokemon. Pretty flimsy if you ask me.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mrs. Dennis, but that information alone isn't enough to definitively prove Barnes is the culprit. Then hurry up and find whoever is and get that jewel back. Isn't that what my husband hired you for?
I get that she's upset, but she doesn't have to take it out on us.
About Barnes.
Excuse me?
Mr. Dennis seems confident that Barnes is innocent. Oh yes, I'm sure he is. He's always been too trusting. Especially when it comes to Barnes. Those two really trust each other that much? I'm told Barnes has worked here for a very long time. Much longer, in fact, than I've known Sanjeev. I suppose that's why Barnes is always taking my husband's side. What do you mean by that? Whenever my husband and I have a disagreement, Barnes inevitably sides with Sanjeev, even though I'm sure he believes he's being impartial. That lack of self-awareness is yet another one of his many flaws.
I get the feeling Claudia's not a huge fan of Barnes. Do you think that's why she's so sure he's the thief?
About Ducklett.
Excuse me?
Could you tell me more about Ducklett? Ducklett is Barnes' partner. She dotes on him tirelessly and is always by his side. Okay. You mentioned earlier that she might be involved in the crime somehow. Would Ducklett be capable of such a thing? Yes, she even helps Barnes out with his shopping. She'd certainly be capable of making off with a jewel.
Well, whether or not Ducklett stole the jewel, the one thing that seems certain is that she really loves Barnes.
About the Aurora Drop.
Yes?
The Aurora Drop is an incredibly valuable jewel. Mr. Dennis told me the same thing. But do you really understand? Can you even comprehend just how valuable it is? Huh? I knew it. Just look at those blank expressions.
Hey, my face always looks like this.
As it is, I'm not even sure my husband understands the true value of that jewel. After getting his hands on something so precious, why would he want to donate it to Rhyme City? So you're against donating the Aurora Drop? Of course I am. Treasures like that aren't meant to be paraded around for the general public. They should be preserved for quiet observation by a select few. Oh, I don't like you at all.
Huh, hard to imagine her quietly doing anything.
Pikachu. Alright. Who's this schmook?
Hello there, Detective Tim.
This is Barnes.
Detective Goodman?
Larry Turner, newest staff member of the Dennis residence. Okay. Wait, you are the detective, right? That's what Mr. Dennis said, at least. The name's... Wait, that's not proper enough. Sorry. My name is Larry Turner, and I'm a member of the house staff.
House staff, huh? Seems in over his head.
If you need anything, just let me know. I mean, please inform me if... You really don't have to be so formal with us. Thanks, that's a huge relief. I got this job a while ago, but I'm still not used to talking all fancy. Uh-oh, is that a problem? Well, it's a good thing for me that Barnes deals with all the important guests. My main duties are taking care of the Pokémon, managing the house, and groundskeeping. And I can handle all that, no problem.
I don't know. This guy isn't exactly filling me with confidence in his ability to do the job.
Anyway, you wanted to talk about what happened, right? I mean, I already told the police everything I know. I'm really sorry for taking up more of your time. Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant. I'm not complaining or anything. It's just that I don't remember what happened very well. Something attacked me out of nowhere, and I blacked out. Oh, he's the guy that got attacked. Okay.
Something attacked him? So, not the thief, then.
Can you please tell us more about that, Mr. Turner? Sure, no problem. About the crime that took place. Right, so where to start? I was doing my job like normal today. I'd made food for the Pokémon, did some cleaning around the mansion, that sort of thing. I think I was tidying the garden when it happened. I saw Ducklett fly out of a second-story window. As I recall, I wondered where she was going. I mean, usually Ducklett just walks out the front door. It seemed weird to me, so I went upstairs to see what was going on. That's when I saw that the door to the jewel storage room was wide open. As if that wasn't shocking enough, the moment I went to look inside, I suddenly got punched by a Pokémon. The next thing I knew, I was lying on a sofa and someone was treating my wounds. A Pokémon punched you? Yeah, I feel like I glimpsed a small red figure for just a moment. Okay. Based on the size, it couldn't have been human, so I'm guessing it was a Pokémon. A red Pokémon. Do you know what kind it was? I'm really not sure. It all happened so fast. I see. I'm so sorry that happened to you. But I'm glad you weren't seriously hurt. Haha, that's what the doctor said too.
No Pokemon would want to steal the Aurora Drop. It's possible that the culprit ordered their partner Pokemon to swipe the jewel and punch out Turner. So, Tim, now that you've heard Turner's story, what do you think?
We need to find the Ducklett that flew out the window and that red Pokemon too.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, about the culprit.
Excuse me?
Did you see anything else when the Pokemon attacked you? The thief who brought the Pokemon along was probably nearby. Unfortunately, that's all I saw. I see. Can you think of any other details that might give us a clue about the culprit? Nothing in particular is coming to mind. I mean, Mr. Dennis is such a nice person. I've never heard of anyone holding a grudge against him. And I was really surprised to hear that Barnes is a suspect. You don't think Barnes is responsible? I guess the police must have some reason to suspect him, but honestly, I just can't believe it. Barnes is still showing me the ropes around here. He's a great co-worker with tons of experience. I mean, if you'd known Barnes before all this, you could never imagine him being a thief. And about the Aurora Drop.
Excuse me?
Do you know anything about the stolen jewel? The Aurora Drop? I've never even seen the thing. It's been shut up in that storage room ever since we bought it to the house. Of course, I know it's valuable and all. I assume that's what's been causing all the arguments between Mr. and Mrs. Dennis lately. What sort of arguments? In case you haven't heard, Mr. Dennis says he's going to donate the Aurora Drop. Seems like Mrs. Dennis is against that plan. They've been fighting about it almost nightly. Every night? It must really be a point of contention. I guess Mrs. Dennis just doesn't want to give up such a valuable jewel.
So the Aurora Drop's been driving a wedge between husband and wife, eh?
Alright, well that's all the questions I got for him. Let's see. Oh! There's Manectric. I don't think there's anybody else over here. What about further over this way? So, Ducklett had to have been flying out the window after the jewel thief. And the reason I say that is because there's no glass on the inside of the hallway. It would all be outside. Is there anyone else in here that I missed out on talking to? No. Is Growlithe ready to talk yet?
Cheer up, Growlithe.
No, doesn't want to talk to us yet. Okay. Oh, well, actually, what about you?
It's some tea to serve to visitors. I'd prefer coffee myself.
Ask me anything you like. About the symbol of revival. What makes the Aurora Drop a symbol of revival? 2 years ago, during the R incident, my jewel shop suffered considerable damage. Wait, you were a victim of the R incident? Yes, some Pokemon who had been exposed to R went berserk. Their rampage destroyed my shop, to say nothing of the damage done to my jewels and other goods. By that time, I already had the Aurora Drop. I kept it stored safely in the shop. So was the Aurora Drop damaged too? No, as a matter of fact, it wasn't. Of all the jewels in my shop, the Aurora Drop was the only one to remain unscathed. In fact, debris fell so perfectly around the Aurora Drop that you might believe it was being protected. That's incredible.
I guess there's some magic left in the world after all, says the talking forest animal.
Ever since then, the Aurora Drop became known as the jewel that survived the R incident. People started visiting my shop just to see it. And thanks to all that attention, my business was able to get back on its feet. Sounds like a valuable jewel in more ways than one. What made you decide to bring it back to your mansion instead of keeping it at your shop? If I'd decided to donate it to Rhyme City, the Aurora Drop, but why donate something so precious to you? It's not just precious to me, and that's exactly why I decided to donate it. Mayor Myers has done his part in improving our city by declaring the start of Pokemon Friendship Week. I thought it was about time I did mine. So I wanted to donate the jewel that survived the R incident as a symbol of Rhyme City's revival. I hope that by doing so I can help liven up not just my shop, but the whole city as well.
Wow, Dennis, I'm impressed.
That's a wonderful gesture. I'm glad you think so. Not everyone is so pleased about it. Oh? Forget I said anything. I shouldn't burden you with concern over such personal matters. For now, I'm counting on you to find the Aurora Drop as quickly as possible.
Understood. We'll do everything we can.
Alright, that's that. Let's go talk to the wife again. Now then, Mr. Barnes, we'll thank you not to leave the mansion until further notice. Understood?
Hey, it sounds like the police finished questioning Bonds. Let's go talk to him.
Yeah. It's like a very serious man. Serious person. How did it come to this? Why are the police so suspicious of me? Excuse me, are you Mr. Barnes? Who might you be? I'm Detective Tim Goodman. Mr. Dennis has hired me to investigate the crime that occurred here. Is that so? My apologies. I am Brandon Barnes. I work here at the Dennis residence as a butler. Do you mind if we ask you some questions, Mr. Barnes? I realize you must be tired since you were just questioned by the police. Please, don't worry about that. If you've been hired by Mr. Dennis, then it is my duty to give you my full cooperation. Thank you. What would you like me to speak about first? At the time of the incident. I was away when the incident occurred. It wasn't until after I'd finished my errand and entered the house that I realized something was amiss. I heard Turner cry out from the second floor. When I rushed upstairs, I found him collapsed on the floor in front of the jewel storage room.
So that means Mr. Bonds was the first witness to arrive at the scene of the crime.
Did you see the thief or their partner Pokémon? No, nothing like that.
Wait, if Bonds ran up the stairs, you'd think he would have run straight into the thief. If he didn't see anyone, could they have escaped from the second floor?
Out the window, baby. Did you check the storage room? Yes, the door was already open, and when I looked inside, I saw that the Aurora Drop was gone. I then contacted Mr. Dennis and the police right away. Is there anyone who can corroborate your whereabouts at the time? Unfortunately not. It was only afterward that Mrs. Dennis came out of her room to see what the commotion was about, and the only others in the house at the time were Growlithe and Clefable. Naturally, no one can take witness statements from Pokémon, so I'm afraid I have no alibi.
That's where we come in. The Pokémon that live in the mansion might know something.
About the culprit. Mr. Barnes, do you have any idea who the thief might be? Not a clue, I'm afraid. But I do know that Mr. Dennis and I are the only ones who can freely use the key to the jewel storage room. Yep. Growlithe guards that key with constant vigilance. So I imagine it would be very difficult for anyone else to take it from her. I suppose it's no great wonder that the police suspect me, given the circumstances. But I would never do something so senseless.
At least this confirms that the only two have access to the key.
About Ducklett.
Yes.
Ducklett is my dear partner Pokémon. Just look at this photo. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Aw. I think I found the thumbnail image, boys. That's Ducklett with you there. Yes, isn't she adorable? Just look at her feathers. Simply beautiful. But that's not all. She's also incredibly clever and even helps me out with my work. Oh, excuse me. I'm terribly sorry. I tend to get a bit carried away when I speak about Ducklett. Yes, how dare you perform such an outburst of emotion? It's really no problem. You mentioned that she helps you with your work. What exactly does she do? Let's see. She runs errands for me, such as buying coffee beans from our local cafe.
Oh, she buys the beans. Nice.
There's a place nearby called the High Hat Cafe. Perhaps you've heard of it. Yeah, we know it. She regularly goes shopping there by herself.
If that's their go-to cafe, then it's gotta be for the hit hat blend. The High Hat blend. Guess I shouldn't be surprised that Rhyme City's elites have such refined taste.
I asked her to go to the cafe today, in fact, but she hasn't yet returned. Could she have wandered off somewhere? Do you have any idea where Ducklett might be? Unfortunately, no. The feathers found at the scene of the crime are Ducklett's, right? Yes, no question about it. But I haven't the faintest idea why Ducklett's feathers would be there. Just the thought of her getting caught up in the crime somehow. I'm so worried that I can hardly think straight. About the Aurora Drop. Out of all the jewels in Mr. Dennis's collection, he considers the Aurora Drop to be his most precious. He worked tirelessly to acquire it in the first place,
You might even say the Aurora Drop is the physical manifestation, the crystallization of Mr. Dennis's career as a jeweler. I wish nothing but swift retribution on the thief who stole it from him. For someone who speaks so formally, Bonds is a pretty passionate guy, isn't he? Please, Tim, find the Aurora Drop, I beg you.
Don't worry, sir, we're on the case. Alright, that's all we got from him.
Based on Bonds' testimony, I'm not really surprised the police suspect him.
Yeah, if only there was another witness at least.
About that, aren't you forgetting something, Tim?
Huh?
Bonds told us that Growlithe and Clefable were in the mansion at the time of the incident, remember?
Alright, maybe the Pokemon saw something.
Exactly. You can leave the rest to me. Let's go question him, Tim.
And we for sure are, in the next episode. Hey, I want to thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I'm very much looking forward to catching you in the next one. But, until then, take care. Bye.